Recording in progress.
Hey, hi guys. Thanks for joining in. Let's discuss one more transformation today. Okay. So today we'll be discussing sequence generated transformation. Okay. Let me write it down. So the sequence generated transformation in Informatica is a passive transformation and connected. By this time, I hope you guys know what is passive and what is connected. So what is passive transformation generally? Passive transformation is the transformation where the number of input records which are coming into the transformation, excuse me, is equal to the number of records which are going out of the transformation. Take the same example. Here there are 10 records which are coming into the transformation. This one, 10 records which are coming into the transformation. And the number of records which are going out of the transformation is also 10 records. Such type of transformations are referred as passive transformations. And what is connected? Connected transformations are the transformations which are part of the pipeline. Okay. So that is the first point you need to keep in mind. And the second point is, like, by the naming itself, we can tell that sequence generated transformation is a transformation which is used to generate sequence of numbers. Sequence of numbers or IDs, or we can also generate cyclic numbers. Okay. And intervals like 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, something like that. Okay. We'll see. Okay. Just keep in mind these 3 points when you want to work with sequence generator. Mostly we'll be doing the second and third point only. Okay. We'll be generating sequence of numbers depending upon our requirement. Okay. Let's move on to the lab in order to understand in much more better way. Okay, before that, let me check what are the source table and target table that I can use to explain the lab. Okay, let me open it. Okay, let's use the same EMP table as a source and see whether the okay, yeah. See, we'll be using this EMP table as source. So what are the columns which contains in EMP table? EMP name, employee salary, department ID. It doesn't have a ID column, right? In the source. Let's go on to the target. So let's start from, let's use employees underscore TGT. I hope this is the table. Yeah. So see here, there is a employees target table which contains ID column, name column, salary column, department ID. But in source DB, we don't have a ID column which is coming, right? So we need to generate by using sequence generated transformation. We need to generate sequence of numbers or IDs and load it into the target. Think that the requirement by the business, they are asking us to load the source data into target with sequence of numbers or IDs. Because in the source, there is no ID column. So we are not getting any data like ID column data in the source from the source. But we need to load it, right? If the client is asking us to load the source data into target table along with some sequence of IDs. Okay. In that case, like we need, like there is one transformation in Informatica, which we can use it in order to generate sequence of IDs. Okay, I hope the requirement is clear. Let's move on to the lab, how we can achieve that by using sequence generated transformation. Let's go to this mapping designer. I hope by this time you are familiar with the tool components like Informatica client tools. Let's move on to the mapping designer. I hope you also know the basic steps that are needed in order to start your Informatica development. Okay. So we discussed in our previous sessions. So what is a prerequisite step? We need to import source and target objects into Informatica. Let's see if we already have the table. So I think we don't have the source and target table. Let's import the first prerequisite step. Let's import that source and target structures into Informatica. Okay. Well, you need to be on the mapping. You need to be on the mapping designer, and you need to be on the source analyzer in order to import sources, right? See here, I am on the source analyzer. In order to import source, how you can import source? Go to source tab. Our source is a table, database table. So I am using the first option, import from database. Give proper credentials and connect to the user or database and select the whatever the respective source table is. We are using EMP table. Select that one, click OK. Our source table is imported into Informatica. Now go to target designer and the second tab. On the target designer, see, you need to be on the target designer in order to import targets, just like source. Go to target tab. Our target is also a table or Oracle table. Import from database. Give proper connection. Select the table from the list of tables that it's showing. What is the table? This is the table. We decided to use it for our target, right? Select the table and click OK. Now the prerequisite step is completed. What is the prerequisite step? Importing of sources and target objects which are needed for our development. We did that. And actual development will start now. What is the first step in the first three basic steps that we discussed in our previous sessions? The first step is like create a mapping. Where we will be creating a mapping, we need to be on the mapping designer. The last icon, see, I'm hovering on it. Click on that icon, mapping designer. Let me show you that name. See here, when you are on that icon, like when you are on the tab, the mapping designer, it's displaying, right? You need to go to mapping step, click create. And the naming convention for all the mappings in real time starts with small m. That is the standard, okay? And some meaningful name. Because I'm discussing sequence generated transformation, so I'm giving the name as sequence generated transformation itself. Now I will click OK. Now the mapping is created. Drag and drop the source and targets that are needed for our development into the mapping. So this is the source I needed, and this is the target I needed to develop the requirement. Okay, develop the code. So we had our source and target into mapping. And now what we discussed, sequence generator is the transformation which is available in Informatica in order to generate sequence of numbers. That's what the client is asking us, right? Load the source data into target table with sequence of IDs. And how you will be creating a transformation? Go to transformations tab, click create, select the sequence generated transformation from the list of the transformation drop down. Select this one, and the naming convention for sequence generated transformation is SEQ. Okay, underscore some meaningful name. Just since we are generating IDs for employees, I just rename it as employee ID under the name employee ID. Okay, click create. And our sequence generated transformation is created. And see here, observe clearly what is the two ports which come by default when you create a sequence generated transformation. So the first one is NEXTVAL and the second one is CURRVAL. Just focus on the NEXTVAL because 99.9% in real time will be using only NEXTVAL. Like until now, I never used a current value, but we need to understand the concept, but mostly focus on NEXTVAL only. We'll be using this value only. When you double click, nothing to do on the transformation tab. Go to ports tab, nothing to do here. Even like you cannot make any changes to NEXTVAL and current value. What is NEXTVAL? NEXTVAL is the field which is used to generate sequence of numbers based on initial value and increment by properties. That statement I will explain now. Go to properties tab. It clearly says that, see here, the start value is 0. It means that we are asking Informatica to start at 0, increment by 1, right? What it is, like if the start value is 0 and we are saying increment by 1, 0 plus 1, 1, right? It will start from 1. And the end value is the max value. What is the max value in the sense? Informatica can reach until this number. After that, it will throw you an error, or we can set up some configurations like reset option we can use so that once it reaches this max value, again it starts from 0 or 1. Okay, depending upon our configuration. And this cyclic option also we can use. We can create a cyclic numbers. Okay, I will explain each and everything. Don't worry. For now, I will not do any changes here. I will be clicking OK, and then I'm connecting my NEXTVAL port to ID port here. Okay, and I'm bringing the name and employee salary from here to here. Right now, once the mapping is created, we will be saving it. Never forget that step. Okay, Informatica is not autosave. We need to manually do it. Save. Okay, the mapping is valid. The first step is completed. What is our second step? We need to create a workflow and session, which we will be doing it on workflow manager, the W icon. Okay, now you on the workflow manager, you need to be on the workflow designer in order to create workflow. Go to workflows tab, click create. Okay. And give some meaningful name. The general naming notation for workflows will be small wf and followed by session name or mapping name. Okay. Just give the same name. Okay. Let's transformation. Okay. Looks good. Click OK. Now we created a workflow. Now we need to create a session. How we can create a session? By going to task, click create and select session from here, or you can make use of this shortcut icon, session. Click that one, click OK, and select the mapping that we are working on. What is the mapping? Sequence transformation is the mapping which we created and we need to which we are working on, right? We will be using that mapping only. Click OK. Now the session is created. Double click. Once you create it, you need to tell Informatica where the source table and target table are present, right? That is very important step. Go to sources tab, select the source, give proper DB connection. It's present in SRC DB user. And then go to targets also, do the same thing, give proper connection. It's in the TGT DB user. Click OK, click OK. And I will not do anything here. I'm intentionally not doing anything. I'll show you one thing. Okay. Click apply, click OK. Nothing to do there. Once you created session and configure the session, you need to link it, right? How you will be linking? Go to task, link task. You need to link workflow to your session. Okay. So that's how we'll be linking the workflow to the session. How I did it? Go to task, link task, and link the drag and drop the workflow to the session. We linked, right? So now we finish the second step also. We created workflow, we created session, we link it to the respective mapping, and then we configure the session configurations also, whatever that is required. And now I am saving it. Now the workflow is valid, right? And third step is write we need to execute the workflow and monitor, right? That is the third step. Before running it, let me show the target. There is any data. There is no data, right? Let's observe what will happen now. Go to workflow manager, right click, start workflow. Okay. Then workflow monitor will open and it will run automatically. Okay. Now it got succeeded, and go to, in order to check the run properties, go right click on the session, get run properties, and go to source and target statistics. See here, 12 records read, 12 records loaded into the target. Now go and query the output. How many records loaded? 12 records, right? See, we got the IDs. Informatica loaded this sequence of IDs, 12. Okay. I want to show you one thing. So generally, whenever we didn't configure anything on the sequence, right? We just make use of next value. We just connected next value to the ID column and it's generating it. Even when you run the next time, observe clearly, we didn't use the truncate option. The same data will be loaded into the target. See the ID column. Start workflow. I'm running it for the second time now. See here, previously the ID, the last value of the ID is 12, and the last value of ID is 12, right? Now run the query again. See here, again 12 records loaded, but it continued with 13, 14, 15, 16, like that. Any number of times, if you continue executing the same workflow using these configurations, it will keep on like incrementing with 1, and then it will keep on loading the data. Okay. In order to, like, now it's like a duplicate data, right? Because I didn't use the truncate option, not to like intentionally I did that in order to show this sequence of IDs, how it's loading the data into target. But what I mean to say here is, like, you need to understand that the sequence numbers will be stored in repository when we run for each and every execution. The last value of the sequence number will be stored in the repository, Informatica repository. Okay. If you want to see that number, let's see. It's a 24, right? Now, I didn't go to sequence. What is the number you are seeing here? Current value is 1, right? Let's disconnect the folder and connect back. Now you will observe like what is the actual sequence I'm connecting back. Now go to sequence. See here, the current value, see 25. So next time when the Informatica started execution, it will start from a 25 value. Let's run it again. Okay. It got succeeded. Again, 12 rows recorded. Now see, previously 24 records. Now execute the select statement again. See, again, now it's the same records. Again, it loaded 12 more records and it started from 25 and ended with 36. Now, if you want to see the number, how you can see it? Previously, the current value is 25, right? Now disconnect and connect back in order to check. Disconnect and connect back. So we'll not do it. I'm just showing why, because if you want to see it, what is the actual value of sequence ID that is stored in the repository, you can do like this. Okay, go to properties tab. See here, now 37 is the current value. I hope that is clear. That is one point that you need to keep in mind. The sequence value will be stored. The sequence number for the last execution will be stored in the repository. I hope that is clear. The last value of the previous execution will be stored in repository. So it will be starting from that value, like 30, like if the value is 34, the next execution value starts from 35. What I mean to say. Okay. I hope that is clear. If not, please comment. I will try to help you out. Okay. So that is one more important point. Now, like we keep on loading the data, right? Now what we do, we'll use a truncate option where we can truncate, go to mappings tab, click target employees. Okay. Where is the truncate target table option? When you click this one, it will automatically truncate the data and load the data freshly. Okay. So before doing that, I also want to show you one option here. Okay. So let me remove this current value to 37. Let me make this the value as 1 only, so that it will start from 1. Click OK. Now save it. Okay. The mapping is valid. And refresh mapping. Okay. Let's see if the truncate target table option is clicked or not. Yeah, it is saved. Okay. Now do save. Now observe, it will not start from, like, before running the job. Let me show you what is the last value, 36, right? But now when you run it, it will start again from value 1. I'm running it. See the data now. It will only load 12 records and it will be starting with 1 only. I'm running the select statement again. See, it started from 1, right? Even if you run like 100 times, like the next run, I want to show, I will run it again. See here, it will load the data from 13 now. But it will contain only 12 records because we selected truncate option. It will delete the records and load it freshly. But the thing is, like, what is the last value that is stored in the repository? 12, right? It will increment plus 1. What is the value? 13. It will start from 13. Now it will contain 12 records only when you select this one, but the value will start from 13 to 24. See, I'll run it. See, the ID starts from 34. Even if you don't want this scenario, it totally depends upon our requirement only. The only point you need to remember is, like, you can generate sequence of IDs by using sequence generated transformation. That's it. Now go and check that. So, like, now go back, disconnect, and see the value. Observe the value of that stored in the repository now. 24, 25 will be starting next time. When you execute the workflow next time, it will start from 25. Okay, I hope that is clear. Let's make it 1. And we don't want to repeat the values like that. For every execution, it should start from 1 only. In that case, reset. Reset is the option. Whenever it generates sequence and loaded the data into target table, for the next run, it will again start from 1 only. When you check this box, reset box, click apply, click OK. Now save it. We made a change, right? Always when you do changes, you need to save it and refresh the mapping. Right click, refresh mapping. Okay, where is it? Right click, refresh mapping. The yellow icon appears. When you save it, it disappears. See? Now start workflow. Now the values will be loading it as from 1 to 12. Previous data. Now let me query the select statement again. 1 to 12. Now, like, if you run like 100 times, 200 times, the value will again start from 1 only and load it as 1 to 12 only. It got succeeded. Let me run the statement again. See, 12 only. Even if you run for the 3rd time, start workflow. it again load the data from 1 only until 12, because we check that reset box so that it will reset the values. Okay, it will not start from 13. It will reset to 1 and then again assign from 1 only. I hope that is clear. If not, please comment. I can try to help you out with some more examples. Okay, so that is one more important point. When it comes to sequence generated transformation, we can reset the sequence of IDs, and we can tell Informatica to do, assign values from 1 for each and every execution. Previously, what's happening when you uncheck this one, it will load until 12 for the first execution, and for the second execution, it is starting from 13, right? Which we already seen. Like we have seen that the value also which is stored in repository, right? How you have seen disconnect and connect back to that specific folder, and we'll go to the properties tab and it will show you the current value. I hope that is clear. Let's move on to the cyclic option. Now, what is the target data? Now it is 1 to 12, right? Now, now the client is asking us, it's okay, the data looks good, but my requirement is like load the first 5 records with 5, and again the next 5 records with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and again the next records will need to be starting with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. Let me show you what they want to do. So what they want to achieve, what is their requirement is, here the records are like that, right? Let me take this one. Okay, so now they want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the 6th record also, again it should start from 1, and the 7th record 2, 8th record 3, and 9th record 4, again 10th record 5, and again 11th record it should start like from 1. So this is one more interview question, how you can generate cyclic IDs. Okay, so just keep in mind. So how you can achieve, by we need to make sure of like we need to make use of 2 options. One is we need to check the cyclic option, and we need to tell Informatica that the end value should be 5, whatever the requirement, whatever the interviewer will be asking your question. If she or he asks like I need cyclic IDs from every 10 numbers, then you need to set this to 10. Now our requirement is 5. Observe it. I'm not doing anything. Just click apply, click OK. We made a change. We need to save it. Right click on the session, refresh mapping, and save it. The yellow icon will disappear. Now run it. Start workflow. Okay, it got succeeded, right? Now go and query the select query. See, the first 5 records it loaded as 5. And the next 5 records were loaded. Okay, it loaded as 0. I know why it loaded with 0. Now, like you understand, right? How you can create a cyclic numbers. Let me show like what we need to tell. Every time when Informatica wants to generate a cyclic IDs, it should start with 1, right? So I will be giving start value as 1. Now click OK. Okay, I made a change. Go to repository and save. Now we will be achieving the client's requirement, what we discussed to achieve. Okay, refresh mapping, click save. Okay, I already used Control S. That's why we already saved the changes. That's fine. Again, I'm running the start workflow. This time it will load properly. Properly in the sense, this is also correct, but it worked according to our configurations, what we configured in sequence generated transformation. Okay, the workflow has got succeeded. Let's query this select statement again and observe the output. See, this time it loaded from 1 to 5, and the 6th record started again with 1 to 1, and 7th record 2, 8th record 3, 4, 9th record 4, and 10th record 5, and again it started from 11th record 1, 12th record 2, and after that we don't have data. That's why it stopped from here. I hope that is clear. What is cyclic records? This is one more interview question. But just keep in mind, by using this cyclic option and end value, we can achieve this type of requirements. But mostly in real time, you will be using sequence generated transformation, especially in slowly changing dimension type 2. Okay, we'll be discussing in coming sessions the use case of sequence generated transformation in implementation of slowly changing dimension type 2. Okay, I hope that is clear. These are the few points that you need to keep in mind. So what are the few other points? Let me write it down. The main important points when it comes to, we can reset the sequence of IDs. That's like what does that mean? Resetting. We can reset the value which is stored in repository. So whenever you run the job, or whenever you execute a job, the last value of sequence will be stored in repository, right? And when we execute it for the second time, it will start from that value, like a +1. For example, if you loaded the 10 records and you generated 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 IDs, and when you ran for the next time, the value will start from 11. If you don't want to start with 11, again, if you run the job and you want the sequence IDs to start from 1, then you need to go and reset. You need to check this reset option. Okay. And what is the other option we've seen? Cyclic option. It's used to generate cyclic of IDs, like cyclic of numbers. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. If you want to generate intervals, let me show that one also quickly. Go to properties tab, uncheck this box, and the end value, it should be okay. Increment by 10. Start with okay. Let me okay. So okay, that's fine. Let me do current value 10, end value. Okay. Let me make this one as 200, something like that. Okay, you can make anything. Current value 10. 10, 0. Okay. So now I will be generating intervals like, oh, let me take 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Let's generate the IDs like that. Click apply, click OK, save, and observe like what we are getting in the output. Okay, let's see what will it give. Okay, right click, refresh mapping, because we made changes in the mapping. Now save it. The tile icon will be gone. Start workflow. It always depends upon the requirement, how we need to generate the IDs and all. The only thing that you need to keep in mind is like, you need to know that this transformation is used to generate sequence of ID. You need to know that there is an option in Informatica which is available in order to generate sequence of ID. That part you need to understand. That's the only thing. Okay. Depending upon your requirement, you can try it out. Okay. See here, now it is 3:13:23. Why it happened, I know, because the last value is stored maybe 3. Let me go here. And, what I will do, disconnect and observe the sequence number. Okay. Current value is 123. See, the end value is 200. Let me do this one as 10. So we are saying current value start from 10. Okay. Now save it. Now refresh the mapping. So you try it out at your end. When you're trying, you will come to know like how it is working, right? So that is very important. And depending upon your requirement, you will be designing it. That's it. Right click, start workflow. Now it is running. Let's observe what will be the output this time. Okay, if not, you take it as an assignment and see. See, we generated the intervals, right? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, something like that. These are nothing but we can also generate intervals. That's what we discussed, right? When you see here, we can generate sequence of numbers using sequence generator transformation, as well as we can generate cyclic numbers, as well as we can generate intervals. Okay, these are the few important points when you need to keep in mind when you are working with sequence generator transformation. I hope that is clear. If not, please comment, and I will try to help you out with some more examples. Okay, thank you so much, guys. Until then, take care.